In this film, we will show you how to replace the Bilstein B4 air suspension module on the rear axle of the Mercedes Benz S-Class W222. Please adhere strictly to the instructions shown in the film. Air suspension modules should always be replaced in pairs. It is imperative to heed the manufacturer's specifications regarding the renewal of screws and self-locking nuts, as well as the prescribed tightening torque. When replacing air suspension modules, it is imperative to use the vehicle manufacturer's tools and equipment. Air suspension modules are left and right-hand parts. Check the association of parts prior to installation. Take the air suspension module out of its packaging and check it prior to installation. Please refer to the provided installation instructions and check the expiration date. Measure the length of the Bilstein air suspension module and compare it with the minimum length specified in the installation instructions. Prior to removal of the air suspension module, vehicle height is measured and recorded from wheel hub center to the bottom edge of the front fender. Attention! This is possible only when the air suspension module is not destroyed. Dismantling of the interior equipment may vary depending on vehicle configuration. Remove the speaker cover in the back shelf and remove the speaker installed underneath. Remove the rubber stoppers. Carefully remove the interior trim of the seat pillow. Pay attention to the airbag system behind. Cut the service flap laterally on the mark. Then cut out the cushioning below the rubber stoppers with a suitable tool on mark and remove the pieces. Take care not to damage the electronic cables and the pressure line of the air suspension module. Fold up the service flap upwards and carefully cut the cushioning beneath with a suitable tool along the marking. Then fold the cut cushioning backwards. Lift the vehicle using the lifting platform support points specified by the manufacturer. Thoroughly check all suspension components for damage. Pay attention especially to the suspension bearings. Attach the diagnostic device and establish the connection. Completely bleed the air suspension module via the diagnostic device. Switch off the ignition. Always remove the ignition key when working on the air suspension module. Always wear the necessary protective equipment when working on the compressed air system. Clean the pressure line connection above the air suspension module. Carefully loosen the pressure line until you hear the sound of effusing air and wait until the residual pressure has dropped completely. Then remove the pressure line connector fully and then seal it. Ensure that you do not bend, twist, nor squeeze the pressure line. Remove the wheels. Disconnect the electronic cables on the connectors on the air suspension module and remove them from the bracket. Check the cables and connectors for possible damage. Loosen and remove the clips on the cover at the bottom on the transverse control arm. Remove the pivot point of the height sensor on the transverse control arm. Remove the upper and lower screw connection of the coupling bar and remove them. Dismantle the screw connection of the transverse control arm on the outside of the axle and on the air suspension module. Then loosen the screw on the inside so that you can swivel out the transverse control arm. Properly secure the air suspension module from falling out and only then loosen the upper fastener. The air suspension module can now be removed. The installation of the new air suspension module is analogous to the removal in reverse order. Attention! Tighten all articulated suspension relevant screw connections on bearings only in the construction state, KO position. Remove the safety label immediately prior to the installation. Insert the new air suspension module and screw it to the upper assembly points. It is imperative to heed the manufacturer's instructions regarding the renewal of screws and self-locking nuts, as well as the required tightening torque. Swivel back the transverse control arm and mount it on the air suspension module and on the axle beam. Mount the coupling bar. Mount the pivot point of the height sensor on the transverse control arm. Attach the connectors of the electric cables to the air suspension module and fix them to the corresponding bracket. Attach the wheels professionally. Loosen the locking screw on the pressure line connection of the air suspension module and remove it carefully. Remove the centrally inserted bracket of the cutting ring. Replace the screw and the cutting ring on the vehicle's pressure line. Pay attention to the correct alignment of the cutting ring. Mount the pressure line on the air suspension module. During installation, heed the manufacturer's instructions regarding the torque. Attention! Never lower the vehicle from the lifting platform with a depressurized air suspension module. Attach the diagnostic device and establish the connection. Fill the air suspension module via the diagnostic device according to manufacturer's specifications. Check the pressure line connection for leakage. The leak tightness of the entire system must be guaranteed. Lower the vehicle down to the first ground contact of the wheels and then start the engine. Let the engine run for at least 2 minutes and then lower the vehicle with the engine running to the previously measured level or to the series standard height. Activate the vehicle's lifting mode. Wait until the vehicle independently lifts up from the lifting platform. Only then is it allowed to fully lower the lifting platform. Place the recessed cushioning under the service flap in the back shelf. Then flip back the service flap. Place the removed sections of the cushioning under the loudspeaker cover and reattach the rubber stoppers. Mount the interior trim of the seat collar. If applicable, connect the existing speakers again and mount the cover. Tighten the previously loosened screw connections of the bearings. Heed the specifications and torque values of the manufacturer. Install the cover on the transverse control arm. Always align the axles after working on suspension parts.
Bilstein. Drive the legend.